Well, guys and girls, to explain what this screen is here for, this video was taken over a year ago, but when I was deleting stuff, I thought I had deleted it. Yesterday, I found it. But one issue is it does not consider it as a video. It plays as a video, but it won't go through my, it won't go through my video editor. So what I had to do was, I had to record the recorded video. So if there's any edits done, that's because something came up there. So maybe at two different parts, a little weird. And the audio may be off, or who knows, I'm not sure. The audio is exactly the same. It should be exactly the same. It recorded whatever was previously recorded. So yeah, this is me over a year, about a year ago or so, talking with D-Free. And thank you very much, D-Free. Love you, pal. And let's get right onto the video. What is up, guys and girls? This is shodleech here, and today there's another episode of Relax and Chat. And this time our guest is D-Free.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. How's everybody doing?
Hopefully everyone's doing great, and I hope everyone's having a nice Halloween.
Of course.
Halloween spooky month. I know a lot of people are playing the evil, I don't even know what it's called, Evil Within game on Twitch. Yeah.
Really? I haven't been on Twitch too much. I just know that it's a spooky month, and even on Twitter, everybody has spooky avatars and stuff going on. I don't know what's going on.
Yep. Even inside this game, I have a pumpkin-style vehicle. And yeah, this topic, well, we couldn't actually think of a topic. We just decided to go with YouTube Live. Simple as that. And we're just going to go from there. So,
pretty much.
How long have you been doing YouTube?
Probably about maybe a year and a few months now. Seriously with it, as opposed to just kind of making it a hobby, something I've been trying to do seriously, probably the last 5 or 6 months. It took a while to really, kind of start seeing development and growth. So it took a while to really start taking it seriously, because I was like, well, if I'm not getting views or subs or whatever, then it's just kind of something I'm doing for fun at this point. So I do legitimately want to kind of make it a full-time thing eventually. I don't know when that'll be, but it's been a while.
Yeah, so your main game on the channel is Dokkan Battle, but was there any specific games that you wanted to do for the channel originally?
Oh, well,
such as
initially, with my channel, it wasn't even based around solely Dragon Ball. I did a lot with Pokemon, I did a lot with Naruto, and I would do a lot of discussions and such, and lists and all these other things, and then it kind of morphed into what it is today. What I had to do was I kind of just fell off with Naruto, because I don't know if you keep up with it, but they have a whole lot of filler constantly. So with all the filler, I was I don't really care too much. It's not that big of a deal. I read the manga, it was over, and I didn't care too much for the anime at that point. Even the anime has recently ended, or they just did the final act of the anime. But what I wound up doing was I broke off my Pokemon content for a separate channel that I've been a little too busy to really maintain right now. But as far as Dokkan, it's such a, like I was telling you kind of before, it's a game that has so much content, and since it has so much content, it's forcing me to do content on it to stay relevant with Dokkan videos. And in doing that, it's obviously helping me be successful so far, but what it's doing is it makes it to where that's the only thing I really have time to do. So, I don't know. It kind of comes all over the place, but I'm interested in so many different things, all types of anime. Dragon Ball isn't even, I say this all the time, and people think it's controversial or whatnot, but I wouldn't even rank Dragon Ball as probably a top 5 or 10 anime for me, because I watch so many different animes and stuff like that, that you know, it wouldn't be there for me. But I think that it's just a really fun thing to talk about, which is why every now and then I try to get back to my roots and get away from the Dokkan so much and try to sprinkle in like a discussion or review or something of like Super or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah. If you had, what is your actual favorite anime that you can think of? I know what mine is, but what is yours that you feel like that you enjoy watching most often? One that you can rewatch an episode of and not get bored from it as easily?
Yeah, it would probably be either One Piece or Hunter x Hunter. I've been caught up on One Piece for like 4 years now, 5 years now, something like that, and watching on a weekly basis. And I used to watch Hunter x Hunter, the 2011 version, back up until it ended, and I rewatched it again recently. Both of those are really good, well-told stories that kind of have a lot of exposition and do, you know, a good job of explaining their characters and their backstories and things like that. And I really do care for that type of stuff versus action-centric shows. Like Dragon Ball is awesome, but I feel like sometimes it doesn't do those things, and I really care more about the character moments and the character developments versus the fighting. Now, that could be like attributed to the fact that I'm a grown man now, but when I was a kid, all I cared about was fighting. So maybe back then Dragon Ball was, but like I even got away from Dragon Ball for like several years actually, and I recently got back to it in the last couple of years because I was like, it's mainly all fighting. Not to say that they don't have development and stuff like that, but it's mainly a fighting-centric show. And then if you look at Dragon Ball, like the initial series, that's my favorite iteration of everything Dragon Ball because they spent a lot of time, you know, goofing off, and they spent a lot of time with comedic moments and doing a lot of development for all the original cast of characters, you know, and I really enjoy that versus all of the crazy high-flying energy beam stuff that they have going on. Back then it was a lot more realistic.
Other than Goku jumping to the moon with the power pole and putting the rabbits.
Yes, other than Yoibo. Yeah, other than that, you know, for the most part, it was pretty realistic. I mean, and then it would get kind of outlandish with like the great ape and Master Roshi being able to destroy the moon and stuff like that.
We
but
also have
for
the
most part,
panties wish.
Yes, the the panties wish. Yes, that even makes its way all the way back to GT, way at the end of what would be considered like the Dragon Ball franchise. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's so amazing what's inside Toriyama's mind. And to think, that Dragon Ball series is based off an Air series.
Yeah, for the initial portion of Dragon Ball, not the entirety, but the initial portion, he got the inspiration from Journey to the West, I believe. So, yeah, it was based off of that initially. And, I mean, the whole concept of Saiyans, I mean, was basically like a loose adaptation of that because you have Goku, who is the first Saiyan technically, and he's a monkey boy, so... You know, it's kind of where it gets its background from, and he turns into an ape. What animes are you interested in?
One anime... Well, it's an anime I really enjoy, but at the same time, it's kind of almost embarrassing to say it is, but it's one that I extremely enjoy. And... I'm going to say it, but I'm reluctant to, just because of the initial reaction people have. Yeah, High School DxD.
Oh, really?
As time goes by, actually has a good story and character development. Actually, on the third season, when this one situation happened, I actually had a tear come from my eye because of how I felt for the character, and I legitimately felt bad for what was happening to them at that time. I mean, in the beginning, it's just all goofy and fun, but as time goes by, it does have good character development and a interesting story. I mean, a story about fallen angels, demons, and regular angels all fighting against each other and having to live in the same world and having this giant war. It's just kind of interesting. I mean, how many things are you going to see that have religious stuff like that in it, but it still catches your eye and doesn't insult the religion itself?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I personally Never really gave it a shot.
In the beginning, it just seems like another sexual anime, but as time goes by, it
Yeah.
actually does grow on you.
That's what I was saying. Like, I never gave it a shot because it looked too etchy. Like, it was just like, you know, it's too out there with like the animations and stuff like that and the character design. So I was like, whatever. But I can understand that, you know, like the story, like it having a good story as like time progresses and such, because that's how most well-made stories are told. You know, as time progresses, they get better and better. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
I actually haven't personally given it a shot,
I
though.
recommend doing so just because the humor in it and the character development as the seasons goes by, it really does really work. I mean, literally, instead of just doing the kind of humor like, oh, this is fan service. No, no, no. They realize some of the scenes it's fan service, so they make it go overboard to where you're actually laughing at how ridiculous it is. Like the whole idea, like, want me to spoil one small thing from season 3?
Yeah, no, feel free. I mean, it wouldn't be for me; it'll be for them. I'm gonna take my time and kind of go through it eventually.
If anyone's watching that series, this one small thing, I'm gonna say, in season 3. At one point, the main character, learns how to speak breasts.
Learns how to speak.
Yeah,
breasts.
the breasts have a
language.
language. Yeah, they actually have their own voices that only he can hear. And they actually said the weakness of the characters that they were attached to when he was fighting them.
Wow.
And you see how something like that, it's like, it's a fan service, it's just over the top and it makes it humorous, the thought of it.
Yeah. Speaking breaths. Totally original idea I would have never thought of.
But you see, it's instead of just straight up kind of fan service, it's just they try to make it go over the top. Heck, I think there's an OVA where they have a plant dragon that grows breasts, and any girl that consumes it, the fruit that looks like a breast, their breasts grow bigger. And so the main character is like reluctant to kill the creature, so that way all the women of the world no longer have flat chests. And at the same time he's thinking but he'll never be able to touch any of them, and so he's like trying to follow the orders of his commander, but at the same time he's not wanting to, and it's just over the top. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. You were gonna say?
I was gonna say it does sound like really crazy. It's not like it could be a lot of fun though. I will definitely check it out. I mean, it's something that I was looking at. It's something that I would potentially try out. I just, like I said, I didn't give it the chance because it seemed really outlandish.
In the beginning, I always have to tell my friends, I'm sorry, it gets better as time goes by. I mean, early in the first season, it's like, you just think it's another type of just fan service male anime, but they actually do have a good story and development. I mean, the process of the devil, you see him as a person, and the main character's friends with the devil's daughter. I mean, think of that the main character is friends with the devil's daughter, and you don't feel bad. You don't feel like it's bad because they make the character's personalities to where you actually feel bad for them, because inside the show it's fallen angels and regular angels versus the demons, and you're following the side of the demons to where you almost feel bad for them, while in real life you would say, curse those demons and such, send them back to where they belong, while inside the show you feel for them. Like I said, in season 3 I had one tear at some point, and I've never done that for an anime. I actually had a legit tear because of how far the characters have gone, and something so bad happened that when the character was so sad, it just I was just so shocked. I mean, watching the season from 1 to 3, they start growing on you.
So is there only
I
3
think there may
seasons of
be
the show
more,
then?
But I know there's at least 3, and they're all around 12 to 14 episodes.
Ah, gotcha. So it's not even that
It's
long.
not that long, but the main story, like I said, it's just something that really ends up getting good if you give it a chance. I mean, I recommend trying it. I mean, first couple episodes you're gonna think, what are you talking about? But time goes by, it gets good. I mean, just story-wise.
What are you guys talking about? What is going on here?
This is what relaxing chat is. We just talk about anything. Anything, even if it's off topic.
Yeah. What are the other animes that you're interested in, though?
Interesting currently, or that I've finished?
Uh, just in general.
Oh, one anime. Well, of course, I like Dragon Ball Z. I like One Piece. I like the Yu-Gi-Oh show up to a point. Pokemon, stuff like that. But I'd say new. Well, to go. One series that I did watch that I'm going to be continue watching is Kill la Kill.
I haven't seen Kill la Kill either. I have seen Akame got killed. It always brings that one to my mind. I personally didn't watch Kill la Kill because I don't like the animation.
Yeah,
style.
I understand about that. But the thing is, animation style goes from different angles. At one point, it'll seem very detailed, and then at another point, it'll seem like cartoonish.
Yeah, that one is on my it's parking lotted. I'm gonna get to it. It's on my list. I generally try to watch things that are like well, that's not a very long anime, but I generally watch things that are like 10 to 12 episodes. Like I don't know. Have you seen like Charlotte?
Seen Charlotte.
Charlotte is a really good anime. It's not very action oriented, so things like that I watch. Like I loved Erased. Have you seen Erased?
I have not seen Erased. Because of YouTube, I'm so far behind. Even in Dragon Ball Super, I've only gotten to the episode where Goku first turns into a Super Saiyan God.
Oh wow. You might as well, honestly. I would generally say you can skip both of those arcs and just kind of bounce to like episode 28, because if you've seen the movie, it's the same thing. I mean, they have little stuff in there, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I can understand that, but because it's the show itself, I'm going to attempt to. But I'm also trying to balance the channel with it, and so I'll see what ends up happening. It may do that, but for now, I'm on episode 10.
Yeah, I mean, you're almost done with that anyway. I think it only goes to like episode 13. And then it jumps into filler for a couple of episodes, and then you get into the Resurrection F stuff, which I always said the Battle of Gods arc in Dragon Ball Super was really well made. I enjoyed it. But the Resurrection F arc is garbage. It really is just really bad. Horribly animated. It's just really bad.
Yeah.
So you're in for something there. If you weren't going to skip, I totally understand that, but you should seriously consider it for that arc. What?
This is just a personal ask question. The animation may look bad,
sure,
but my question is, could you draw better yourself?
Yes, I could. Then the animation of the Resurrection arc, yes, I could.
You believe that you could take that person's job for that specific exact frame and draw something better?
Yes, you must not have seen
I have.
art.
I have seen.
That's...
I saw what a friend showed me. I have not, like I said, gone to that arc yet, but yeah. I have seen one. And I could. I know I couldn't. I could barely draw a stick figure, which is why I'm asking.
It's really bad. Like, I don't. The thing is that when you hire animators for shows, right, you want to be able to obviously balance a budget because it'll cost money, but you don't want to get the bottom of the barrel. You want something that's going to at least make this show look decent. That doesn't even look decent.
I mean, regular Dragon
most of the
Ball
time
from the original, that has better animation.
And the thing is that like I don't talk too much about the Battle of Gods arc because for the most part aside from episode 5, which got redone, it was pretty good. The animation of that arc was fantastic, actually, especially the fight between Beerus and Goku was good for the most part. It's just with the Resurrection F arc, they take a complete nosedive. It's a lot worse. I don't know what they were thinking with that arc. But then they pick it up with the Universe 6 arc, which is why I said
I've only gotten so far, so
not much.
let's be careful not to reveal anything.
Oh, you're not familiar with what
No.
arcs come?
No.
Like you're not familiar with like the
I know Black Goku.
You don't know about
that
Black?
was revealed because of the Dokkan videos.
Oh, gotcha.
I
So you don't know.
squat.
Well, then everything that's in the anime has been in the has been in the
I
game
don't-
already. They had the super
Like,
banner.
I do my best. Like, if there's like a battle with them, I just don't watch that episode that the YouTuber did.
Well, I'm not gonna say anything about what happens in the arc, but you should still be familiar with like the characters.
I know
like
about
Hit
the
and such,
name, I
right?
know
You know
nothing
about those
about
guys. Cool. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that arc that he's interested in, they pick it up, and then it's been sustained all the way through the Black Goku
yeah,
arc.
I know names. I just don't know actually what they do. Their whole premises. So that's.
You should just. You should
I
just
want
catch
to.
up, man.
I'm working with YouTube right now. I'm doing my best to keep other people happy. It's not just me anymore.
You do more Dragon Ball content. It'll make everybody happy.
I did the whole entire thing of Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 on the channel. Yeah,
Yeah. Was that well received?
I liked it. I mean,
good.
that's my favorite,
Sometimes-
one of my very favorite video games.
I like Tenkaichi 3. The only problem I have with that game is I don't like how most of the characters are just reskins because they all do the same thing, have the same combos. There's like not very many different palette changes for the characters. Well, I mean actual changes. A lot of them are just palette changes if you pay attention. That's the
Which
only
is
thing I
why
don't
I
like about
enjoy
that
it,
game.
because I don't pay attention on purpose, so that way the illusion stays there. I mean,
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Because they were kind of just like, oh, we'll fit all these characters in, but there's only really like 15 characters that play different.
and that's why I'd rather live, what's it called, ignorant? Rather
Yes.
live ignorant and in bliss than know exactly what it is and be sad about it. It's like saying, you want to know your own death when you're going to die? You're going to say, I would rather not know when I'm going to die. Because it's going to ruin life
Yeah,
for you.
that's true.
Because you're going to be worried all the time. I mean, you'll know exactly
That's true.
what's gonna. You know when it's gonna happen. At the same time, when it gets to that point, you're gonna be all sad and worried. You're gonna be crying to your family. Your family's gonna be asking you, "What's wrong?" You're gonna tell them. They won't believe you. It happens. Well, if you're ignorant, that same day that may happen, you're gonna be like, "I love you, kids," and just stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
And
I wouldn't
so,
want to
like,
know anything
in
about
the
that
video
either.
game, they
I
may
can
have
understand
different-
that.
You may have a lot of times the same combos, but I just focus that it's the skin of it, and I just enjoy playing as the character and stuff. Just what's happening. I mean, I just look at the character as the character. I'm not looking exactly his moves. I'm just trying to win the fight.
That's true. But if you were playing
Competitively,
competitively,
then I'd pick Super Saiyan Gogeta. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta to be specific.
yeah, see. I enjoy the game though. I haven't played it in a while. I'll try to play a little bit on my channel not too long ago. Well, probably about end of last year, so I guess it was a while ago because this year shot by.
It definitely
Um,
has.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was fun. Last thing I remember.
And just as a question in general, for your channel, if Dokkan ever at one point does like end being the main thing on your channel, what would the next main series on your channel be?
That's interesting. I really don't know. The thing is that I don't want Dokkan to be my main thing on my channel. It just kind of is in nature due to the content that comes out for the game so often. So that's something that I will probably work on changing because I do want to diversify my channel because in order to grow, you do have to continue to maintain and change your channel and develop your craft. So that's something I'm going to work on. The thing about it is, though, if we're talking specifically about Dragon Ball gaming, is that they have literally so many games concurrently running. I am going to get. I actually have a 3DS capture, but it's a US one. But I'm going to get a Japanese one so I can do Dragon Ball Heroes because that at this point I try to hold out hope. It's not going to get localized at this point. But kind of just looking at it progressively. Dokkan is out now. It's awesome. Xenoverse 2 is coming out shortly, so that's something I can transition into. And then around the time Xenoverse 2 will start losing a little bit of hype, Dragon Ball Fusions is coming out, and I can be one of the only people that actually can do content on that because I have my capture card. So like, it's a butterfly, man. I can continue to do things. So even if Dokkan kind of slips, which I don't think Dokkan will slip from prominence for another couple of years because Dragon Ball. It's crazy. It's really, really popular. And Dokkan is one of the most popular things that they have going on for Dragon Ball in general right now. It's not, it's not a game that's not making the money. It's not doing very well. Dokkan is doing really, really well, especially in the platform that it's on. The only thing that they have going on right now that I would say even compares to Dokkan as far as relevance goes is Xenoverse 2 and Heroes. And Heroes is a wild card because it's not even localized. So Heroes may not even compete, whereas Dokkan is basically worldwide. So, it's a butterfly, man. I can continue to do things. So even if Dokkan kind of slips, which I don't think Dokkan will slip from prominence for another couple of years because Dragon Ball it's crazy. It's really, really popular. And Dokkan is one of the most popular things that they have going on for Dragon Ball in general right now. It's not it's not a game that's not making the money. It's not doing very well. Dokkan is doing really, really well, especially in the platform that it's on. The only thing that they have going on right now that I would say even compares to Dokkan as far as relevance goes is Xenoverse 2 and Heroes. And Heroes is a wild card because it's not even localized. So Heroes may not even compete, whereas Dokkan is basically worldwide. So you're looking at Dragon Ball Xenoverse and Dokkan being the two prominent Dragon Ball titles right now. So it's going to stick around for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And even the Dokkan is even taking stuff from Dragon Ball Heroes. Like there's the, what's it called? Baby Janemba. You know what I'm talking?
Yeah, they. So what they've been doing with Dokkan JP, at least, because a lot of the hero stuff probably won't come to the global version because it's not going to get localized. But yeah, exactly. But Fusions is getting localized, so they'll at least get the Fusions banners and stuff like that. But what they've done is they've done promo. So like they'll probably do it again when Xenoverse 2 comes out. There'll probably be some sort of Xenoverse 2 banner that'll probably have like Timebreaker, Bardock, or something crazy. I don't know. Depends on what's actually in Xenoverse 2's story mode, like Super Mirror or whatever happens. But what they do is that they are doing promo for these other games. So basically Dokkan, and this is why I say it's so popular, Bandai is 100% confident in Dokkan's abilities to promote things, that they're literally going into Dokkan and saying, okay, let's promote Dragon Ball Heroes. How can we do that? Let's give them Dragon Ball Heroes cards. So now they're aware of what Dragon Ball Heroes is, and they're aware of the fact that they can pull these awesome cards, and we have this banner for them specifically as promo, and these cards are not coming back. They're not available aside from in this promo banner, whereas every other SSR just kind of gets thrown into like this pool for every other banner that comes out later on. So that's what they do with these cards, and that's why I'm saying like Dokkan is like, it's crazy. It's really, really popular because Bandai has the faith in it to say, hey, let's use this as a promotioning tool. Like, it's kind of annoying, being a player of the game, but from a marketing business standpoint, it's really, really smart how they're handling it. It's annoying because basically the game it's entirely pay to play now, because the rate at which banners come out, the rate at which new amazing cards come out with the power creep that the game has, the rate of how often they give you free stones, like via like login and stuff like that, because now at this point they don't give you anything. They give you like one a stone if there's always like a login bonus going on, one a day, excuse me. And if you look at that, that's 50 days for a multi, so like they're not giving you anything. And if you pull a good card, you have to do those super or Z hard difficulty that cost 40 or 50 stamina, so you have to refill, so it costs more money. Like it's I don't know, but it's really, really smart marketing wise. So I don't know. It's gonna keep going. Unfortunately, like I said, the heroes thing kind of probably won't come to like global, but the fusions will at least. And fusions just got a rebirth. A lot of the characters. I don't know if you've seen any of that art floating around for the newer characters, but people are falling in love with like Bea, with Bra Pan, the fusion of Bra and Pan and stuff like that. Even though she's like 10 years old.
She actually looks like she's 10 years old.
Well, no. She looks like she's like 20, but she's 10. She has boobs and everything. It's like, come on now. Because I don't know if you're familiar with the Japanese Dragon Ball GT. So, in between Z and GT, in Japan, there's a 5-year gap, but the dub gave them a 10-year gap. So, innately, Pan is only about 10 years old, and people think Bra is older than Pan, when in actuality, she's a year younger than Pan. So, if you're taking a fusion of those two characters, she's going to be like 10 years old.
Well,
so Bra Pan would be about 10 years old. So yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
The way Dokkan is like the 6-month gap type of thing. That means that players on global can just save stones, so that way they're prepared for the meta. Like just getting.
I'm gonna refute that, because that's about to end. They're going to jump into a massive creep really soon. I can't speak about some things I kind of know on the back end, but their Dokkan Global is going to start picking up the pace soon, and it's going to be in the same situation as JP. That was the luxury of playing Global, but it's going to end. But I will say, the main luxury of playing Global is, and always has been, the fact that you can say, okay, well, I'm not going to summon on this banner because I know how good that card is. Or I know it's coming later on, so I'll save for this banner. But you won't have as much time to save. And Global also does this thing where they give you 1 stone now. I don't know if you remember, but they used to give like 2 a day, or sometimes they give you 5 on the last a day and things like that. No, they only give you 1. I mean, there was that one time they gave like 77, but still. So that's not really going to be a factor, but it is now at the moment. But as soon as, I want to say, as soon as Apes come out on Global, it's going to start picking up. And Apes should have been out already, but as soon as they come out, it's going to start picking up, because there's actually consideration and talk that they may actually skip the Beerus and the Beerus Dokkan Festival and go straight to Super Vegito next and do Beerus afterwards. If they announce Super Vegito, the sooner they bring out Super Vegito, the sooner the meta changes. The sooner the meta changes, the sooner the game picks up the pace.
Well, at least I'll have some sort of team. Because I'm saving purely for the Super Vegeta.
Are you,
the only time I ever
free?
played was for the Super Gogeta, and I didn't get him.
Gotcha. Well, don't feel bad about that, because he'll be on that banner too.
But
He'll
pretty
be
much
available
because a
if you
lot
want
of the fights now inside JP, most people are just using the Super Vegito Dokkan. At least I'll stand a chance if they are banners.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. Broly, who is the only other mono leader that comes out at that time, you can run a Broly team. I mean, he's not anywhere near as good as Vegito, but you can. So him and Vegito and Gogeta are all in the same banner, so you can pull possibly multiples of them and kind of just do this thing where you have a lot of options. Like, for example, Gogeta fits on an AGL team if you wanted to do that. He doesn't get the buffs, but at least he gets the leader skill and stuff like that. Even though I've been trying to tell Theo, Living Ichigo, to drop the Gogeta for a long time, he still kind of does it, and I guess it works moderately successfully.
Against everyone. True.
But see, without the leader buffs, it's not as viable. He's just chilling there. So it's nowhere near as much damage as he can actually do. So comparatively, without a leader buff, he hits probably about half as hard as mine does with the leader buff from Omega Shenron. So it's a massive difference. Even though he's super effective and he gets an attack boost, he's basically there for linking and bridging gaps, but he's a supporting unit. Whereas at Super Attack 7, mine, on JP with the Omega Shenron leaders, he can hit for over 400k. He's just chilling, just casually. So I think at Super Attack 6 or 7 with double Gogeta leads, he was hitting for about 260, 250. And that's with him actually getting 6,000 attack from leader skills. So if you take away any type of leader skills and just give him attack links like Fierce Battle and Super
True.
Saiyan, he's nowhere near as good. Which is why the game kind of moves away from Gogeta. Gogeta's an awesome unit, but he's a victim of the power creep. The game just has a massive power creep. He's just a victim of it, to where him being super effective on everybody is just not enough anymore. But since he has a mono leader, he can actually come back into the game and start kicking some butt again. He just, you know, if he had the same leader skill, he'd be probably the best card in the game. He just doesn't have.
One thing that I'm interested about is the LRs.
They're interesting. They require way too much work. People call them free units when they're sort of free units because, like I said, you have to do all those stages and get all those medals, and they all cost a whole crap ton of stamina, so that's a lot of refills. But it's something that you kind of strive for when it comes to LRs. But they're not even, the thing about LRs is they're unimpressive because they're not even as good as these God type leaders like Vegito, Buhans, Gotenks. They're not even that good. He just doesn't have.
One thing that I'm interested about is the LRs.
They're interesting. They require way too much work. People call them free units when they're sort of free units because, like I said, you have to do all those stages and get all those medals, and they all cost a whole crap ton of stamina, so that's a lot of refills. But it's something that you kind of strive for when it comes to LRs. But they're not even, the thing about LRs is they're unimpressive because they're not even as good as these God type leaders like Vegito, Buhans, Gotenks. They're not even that good. But they're nice to have, but they're more so box trophies because even if I had, which I don't have either of them yet, even if I had either of them, I'm not going to run.
But for a free
better
deploy
options.
team, that's a big improvement.
And that's why I said they're free, but not really free. Because you need how many? Have you seen how many medals you need for like the androids? You have to beat the 50 stamina bosses
and also
11 times.
5 medals from every other banner, other than the 77 ones.
It's 77 for each of those. That's 11 times for each of those 50 staminas. You also need 7 medals for Vegeta, Beerus, those kind of like those ones that came out after Gogeta, and everything Gogeta and before you need 3 for. So it's a lot of stamina. The Goku one is a little different because you can get anywhere between I think like 7 and 20 medals on one run, but the stage is a 50 stamina stage, and you have a restriction. You can only use Super Strike cards. So while they're free acquirable units,
well, they consume time.
They're not.
Pretty much. I mean, no one.
No, they're not, because Bandai designed it specifically to make you have to refill, which means you're buying stones. Because they're not going to give you any more free stones.
I just want to figure.
But I mean, now I'll say that if you want to spend months doing it, that's different. But I think everybody's going to try to rush. Like when LR Goku comes out, everybody's going to rush to get him. I think the first time he'll come out, he'll be available for like a week.
True.
And everybody's going to have him on your friend list. And like I remember when he came out of JP, people did like 40 or 50 stones to refill. You'll legitimately need that many stones to be able to get that card. Just on refills. So I mean, if you are able to buy the stones, it's a lot easier. That stage is really annoying though. So I'll do it gradually eventually. And he hits really, really hard. But the problem with LR Goku versus the androids is that he has no key links really. He has all attack links, and his links are really bad. But the androids at least have shocking speed in their AGL, so they fit perfectly on a Vegeta team.
I just can't wait for what they come up with in other LRs. Also,
what do you think will be next?
Vegeta to be the next LR. One I could expect could possibly be Trunks.
That's true. Well, when it looked like they were doing it after the Resolute toy line, after Goku, Vegeta would have been next, then it would have been Hercule, then it would have been Teen Gohan, and I believe Trunks is after that. but I mean, they kind of diverted in doing the androids, so the androids aren't part of that toy line. However, you can make the argument that the androids are a little different. They don't seem like they're like mainstay LR cards. They seem like they were kind of just like a side type of LR card, just that they kind of threw out there. They don't seem like they're their main brand of LR cards, if that makes sense. Sort of like how Transcendent URs have the Transcendent URs that have like the Fierce Battle, and then they have the ones that are like Rebirth cards. Kind of seem like the LR androids or something similar to that, akin to like a Rebirth card of like a Transcendent UR. So I don't know if they will do Vegeta next, but Vegeta would be next if they follow that toy line that the LR Goku is modeled after. I don't know if you're like aware of that, but Goku's modeled after a toy line. Yeah, they have an actual statue, and well, not really statue, but they're like they're figurines, but like you know, they don't move and stuff. So that's where that Goku comes from. That's just why when he comes out the tournament, I believe the first 100 people get one of those statue toys things. It's called like Resolute Soldier or Warrior or whatever. But that's why I'm telling you the exact order. If they do it after that, there's a Vegeta model that came out as Series 2 after the Goku. Then Hercule came out Series 3, Teen Gohan, and Trunks. So that's literally the order that those came out.
Yeah.
So it's not wrong to say
like
Vegeta. I would have thought
Vegeta.
Vegeta.
Did Android, you would think that they would do Trunks next. I'm just basing it off on.
I don't know what they're doing.
They did the Goku, which was supposed to be the android killer, but he died from the heart virus. And so the androids end up becoming next, and then I would think that the person that kills the androids would be Trunks. Also because he's one of the like big things in Super right now, it seems. I'm not exactly sure, but it's what I've heard. And so it just sounds like he could be the next one. I mean,
yeah. It makes sense. Everything Dragon Ball is Trunks now. Trunks is the focal point of everything Dragon Ball simply because he is the main character of this new arc. It's called the Future Trunks arc.
This is not Goku time.
So, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Oh, it's still Goku time, but but Trunks is the main character. You know, Dragon Ball can't get enough of Goku. They always put him in the situation to be the hero, so... Yeah.
So when was the first time you saw Dragon Ball anyways? Because you seem to, even though it's not like top 5, top 10, you still know a lot about it. Keeping up with it.
Yeah. During its initial airing on Toonami is when I first saw it. I was a young kid back then in the 90s. What was that, like 98, 7 in that area? So I got like got a handful of years on you. But back then, around that time, it was my birthday. It was probably like 6th birthday-ish. But I was watching, kind of flipping through TV, and Goku versus Frieza was on, destroyed Namek and stuff. So I was like, what is this? I don't know what's going on. These guys are flying at this crazy transformation. They're punching and kicking each other, and it's like, this looks really, really cool. And so ever since then, I kind of immersed myself in the series and thought it was really cool. So, I mean, that's kind of where it all kind of starts off for me. Like, that's where the exception is. But I kind of drifted away from it for a couple of years and got away from Dragon Ball, everything. But got back to it within the last few years. Well, no. Dokkan is kind of one of the things that brought me back
one
to
thing
Dragon
I want to
Ball.
say is sorry if I am interrupting you, because I know on my last video, people said I kept interrupting their person talking. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't do that this time. But so if I am, let me know, so that way I can tell the comments whether or not I am or not.
No, you're good. I don't mind. I've kind of done it to you a couple of times, but it's okay.
I was just really young.
How did you get into the series?
First memory of Dragon Ball Z I remember is the Super Android 13 movie. That's the first memory of Dragon Ball Z I have. I enjoy it.
Interesting one. How do you like that movie?
I mean, how many times do you get to see Goku hitting the balls?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other than Team 4-Star having Vegeta
That's
in
true.
the dick, you don't see Goku hitting the dick that much. So that's like why it's special.
That's true.
And one
Doesn't
of my
happen very
favorite
often.
characters may not be from that movie, but one of them is General Tao. Yeah.
I like Tao Pai Pai.
I mean,
General Tao. I prefer the series in Japanese, so naturally, when you said that, my mind made the connection to Tao Pai Pai.
I prefer the Japanese one also, just because it says it's truly what they're meant to say instead of trying to substitute the words to fit it in English.
Yeah, I enjoy it, and I don't mind watching it that way. Like, people have their gripes about, you know, the character voices and such. I don't really care. I just enjoy it. Especially, like, with Dragon Ball Super, you don't have a choice. Most people don't have a choice. I mean, it has been dubbed in certain locations. Like, there's a Hebrew dub and other things like that. But, like,
yeah,
most people don't have a choice.
My favorite character, Tao Pai Pai, and one of my favorite movies is Super Android 13. The reason why I like Tao Pai Pai is his character's interesting. He helped teach Tian, which made him the character he was, then he broke off from that path. And the pure fact that they made him an android, or part mechanical, is interesting. I mean, you would have thought that they would have ended it then and there, but the pure fact that Tian had to face the person that helped teach him all of his moves, for the most part, he has to end up facing, and he's gonna get killed by that same character, so he has to end up taking him out.
That's true. Yeah, the whole idea between those two characters is a really cool idea. I like it. I do like Tao's character. I think he's a good idea. And he had a lot of kind of just moments in the series initially where they kind of were like, okay, well, he's a badass.
Correct.
You know, he's the first real villain that they really introduced into the show.
Tongue attack.
Yeah. So I do like Tao a lot. He's pretty cool. I will say, I don't too much care for the BoJack.
Again, it's a
not
special
BoJack,
place in my heart just because
the Super
of the
13
punch in the
movie.
dick. I mean, come on, you gotta say, out of all of them, that's
I will say, I love the
him
very
punch in the
next
dick,
one.
Really. It does.
That's true. Well, it happens in
that,
Dokkan.
In the movie, just
yeah, because every time that I don't know if you have him, that physical Super Saiyan 1 Teen Gohan does like that soaring fist or whatever. He punches everybody in the dick.
One of the very few characters inside of Dokkan that ends up cursing in their super. Damn you. And now I can't get monetized on this, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, how many super attacks do you see? Or do you see something like, damn you? I've only seen, like, I think 2. One from Goku, maybe. But I can guarantee it's that one physical Gohan.
Nah, that's the only one I've seen. I don't know if he still says it anymore. I haven't
just
used it on him. Sometimes they patch up stuff.
I'm doing the
King
Vegeta Super Strike event. And, yeah. He does say that, at least in the global version.
Yeah, he's a beast, man. I love that card. I actually started playing around the time he was introduced. Him and the AGL Super Saiyan 2.
At one point, I want to make a
Jack Banner and when BoJack came out.
Physical strength team, just because there's passives where it increases strength and physical attackers, like the physical Super Saiyan God with his passive. His passive increase all strength and physical characters attack by 25% on the field. And so I use him to help me nuke the King Vegeta with the fat tanks.
Gotcha. I like Fat Goat Tanks. His Dokkan Awakening is really good. Um, he gets a new leader skill too, where he gets 20% attack,
Nice.
HP, and defense, I believe, plus 3 key to physical types. So he's got like that baby version of like a Vegito leader skill. Instead of it being 70, it's 20. So him and the Skinny Tanks are really, really solid. Like Skinny Tanks, when he Dokkans, he has the same leader skill for tech types, but he starts getting super attacks at 9 key when he has super attack 15, and the physical one hits harder when he has super attack 15, like every other super strike does for the most part. They're actually really, really good when they Dokkan Awaken. Like they're really, really good.
At minute 47, at the 50-second mark, you're gonna have to see this in the video if you ever watch this. If you ever watch this video, I mean, like I said, I mean, I got the goal somehow. I don't even know how it's still counting me as getting the goal. I'm playing Rocket League as the game, so I know. But yeah, they had the new like Rumble mode towards
I haven't played
Mario
that in a while.
Kart, where you at a random time after 10 seconds you get a random ability, such as punch the ball with a cartoon-style fist or teleport where the enemy's located at. It's just another mode that they added that's free. And so you did say that you won't be able to do more stuff than just Dokkan on your channel, correct? I know one.
Yeah, sooner than later. I'm gonna make some changes.
Strategy?
It somewhat depends. Well, Dokkan's very strategy based. You have to figure out links and stuff. So I'd say yeah.
War.
Depends on the platform. War.
Total War.
What game?
That is a Steam game.
What is that on? Is that a mobile game?
And I just got it 2 days ago.
Gotcha.
2 days ago. And it's a game where you pick the race that you want to play as. You either play as regular people or creatures. And you have to control your army. And you have to end up, like, taking over. But the thing is, you have to make you get to control your team. You tell your troops where you want them to go. And you watch the battle happen. Like, you know how there are games like The Sims where you float everywhere? That's like the same thing. You're floating above the middle of the fight, and you're commanding your army where to go and who exactly to hit. Or you can pick individual characters if you wanted to. And so you have to make those decisions. But another thing
that's pretty
you
cool.
have to do is you have to make sure that you have enough money, or else your soldiers are going to end up leaving you because you're not getting paid. So you have to get enough soldiers to be able to win certain fights. But at the same time, you have to be able to have enough money so that way they don't leave you. And as the game goes by, you can upgrade. But while you're all doing that, the enemy's getting stronger. So you have to decide decisions like destroy this enemy's base or take it over. Is this match even worth? Because there's the auto fight where the computer does it for you automatically, so you don't have to do it if you're sure your team's gonna win. And it's just all about strategic moves, deciding whether or not you should help fight this, whether you should run, just stuff like that. And there's more than one race, so if you wanted to, you can pick the vampire race where you use undead like zombies, skeletons, or you can pick regular people, you can pick dwarves, stuff like that. And it just makes the game interesting if you're into a kind of like strategic war game. Because I've tried going on the internet finding a good strategic war game, and they're all just you place that camp there and they're fighting while you're commanding other troops and you're not even in the fight. While in this, you're commanding them as they're in the middle of a fight. So you really have to think, where do you want to place them Do you want to ambush? Do you want to do this? You want to do that? It's just a real strategy war game.
Oh, that's cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. I wouldn't be opposed to playing it personally, but I don't know how my channel would receive it.
You want to play a different game other than Dokkan Battle, so if you're looking for strategy type games, I mean, you won't know until you try. And you can also look up YouTube videos about it. Heck, I can show you some stuff since I got the game, so if you ever got free time, I can share screens and show you. But I'm just trying to help you get a game that you may like. I mean, there's also different other games in the series. Like, that's the most recent one of the series. There's like 3 others in the series, but that's the most recent. And yeah, the game's fun. I've not done it on the channel, but I plan on doing it on a live stream at a point if I figure out how to play it well enough.
Yeah, a live stream is actually a really good option to see, because I mean, when it comes to the channels, I mean, you want to always do something that people will be interested in, and a live stream is a good way to tell if somebody's interested in it, because I mean, a certain number of people will be there versus, you know, how many people won't be there too. That's just my main gripe, is like, I have so many different things I could potentially bring or want to bring, but I want to make sure that it's something that'll get views, because I don't want to have it be something I spend time doing and it goes underappreciated.
Stuff like that, because are they there for you or are they there for the game? Like my friend Tide Time, he decided to change up the games that he played, such as he didn't do Smite daily anymore. He switched it up to where he played some games that he really enjoyed. And people have left him, but people have also joined him. And the true people that are there for him stayed, and the people that were there just for the game Smite left. And so yeah, it's just kind of that thing. Are they there for the Dokkan Battle tips, or are they there for your personality? You won't know until you try a different game and see how many views you get from it.
Yeah, I've been down that road several times. That's why I said, I mean, it got to a point where I had to break off Pokemon entirely, because I used to have Pokemon uploads like a few times a week of like Wi-Fi battles on the DS and all that stuff. It just didn't work. So I don't know.
And like I said,
we'll
if
see.
you ever do get free time,
but I do appreciate it though. I will look into the game.
Show you what I'm talking about, like show you a simple fight. Just so that way you can see how the game looks and is played. I'm not saying today, I'm just saying...
Yeah, no, that sounds
if
good.
you ever get the time...
I don't know if I can do it today, but that sounds
just
good.
want to try and help you see if you like that kind of game and help you make good price choices, just because I don't want you to end up buying a game that you're not even going to end up doing on the channel and you're not going to end up enjoying.
No, I appreciate it, man. I'll definitely take you up on the offer.
I don't know if you can hear it. Okay. But yeah, is there anything else?
Oh no, you're good.
We should talk about, or are we all talked up?
I don't know. I don't think there's anything more we can really talk about. We had a lot to talk about. How long have we? How long has the video been?
There. That's what relaxing chat is.
Wow.
Relaxing chat is a uncut thing where you can just play a game and listen. It's like a podcast sort of type thing. There's gameplay inside the background here, but there's also people talking. But yeah, the show High School DxD, I recommend getting into the first season at least, since it's 12 episodes. And if you liked the first season, you'll love the second season, because it gets more action, more in depth with the characters, and you start learning about them more to where, yeah, if you enjoy the first season, you'll love the second season, because it just gets more into the story. So, yeah, High School DxD, highly recommend to give it a chance. There's great humor when there's dark parts, so it balances itself out. There's the dark situations, then they have the humor to help lighten things up at the same time. It's good, so yeah, give it a chance. 12 episodes per season, I think, from what I remember, and yeah, that game I highly recommend it. Even if it's not for a channel, it's a good war game if you're looking for a realistic type war game.
Yeah, no, I will check it out probably later on today or tomorrow. It sounds like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, man. I hope everyone.
But thank you for having me, man. It was a lot of fun.
And I can't wait to see who will end up showing inside the next relaxing chat. If you know anyone that would enjoy this, let them know that I'm gonna be looking for someone else. And yeah. Anyways, guys and girls, I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you in the next episode. See ya.